What's going on, family? What's going on? What's going down? What's shaking? Welcome to another episode of Nonfiction with Jonathan Soul. Now, it's something that's been kind of bothering me recently when I looked at the news. I'm starting to see all of these fires that impact what I would just say, just in general terms, it's called infrastructure. Now, everybody's focused on the Ohio tragedy over there in East Palestine, where there's a, trains, tumbled over and spilling these chemicals into the environment. Water table is polluted and the whole nine. But, train derailments happen a lot. Do I think it's strange? Yeah, because in this particular instance, there was a movie that was filmed in Palestine before, I think within the last 2 years, and that movie is supposed to be on Netflix called White Noise, and it was filmed in East Palestine, Ohio, and now that same thing happened. Now that used to happen, something similar to that used to happen back in the day, meaning before the pandemic in like 2016, 17, that whole area, you would have these mass shootings, and what would happen is you look it up, and there was an active shooter drill the week before, the day before, 2 weeks before, and then the actual shooting happened, and then, oh my God, the people would run out. If it was a school situation, like that Florida school was one example. We just had a active shooter drill yesterday, and we didn't know if this was real or not, this kind of thing. And so it was a way to kind of control the people. It was like an advanced false flag where the people participating in it didn't know it was a false flag. You know what I mean? But, that type of situation. The person was always killed, never captured, kind of a thing. Similar with these lone shooters. You know what I mean? You can take all kinds of bags, big giant bags of ammunition and weapons into a hotel. Nobody says nothing, and then you can just shoot down on these people. Come on. Anyway, but what is interesting to me is the warehouses that are burning. So there's this group called it's like a news organization called Epic Times, or Epoch Times, EPOCH. Now, I would consider these people kind of like conspiracy type people, but they do research like Alex Jones used to do research. I'm not saying he doesn't do research anymore. He probably got a team to do that now, but, back in the day, it seemed like he would do the research himself. But anyway, what's the point? The point is, they went back in 2022 and found all of these food processing places that were set ablaze. And so I went back and I found the articles myself, because they just kind of posted like screenshots, And so I went back and I found them like in January 2019. There was this Cargill Nutrina plant. It's a feed mill that got set on fire in Louisiana. I'm not going to butcher these names. I'm just going to kind of like flash them across the screen or whatever. But in February, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 food processing plants. One was a fertilizer plant in Sunnyside, Washington. Another one was a family farmer, Shady Brook Farm, and Dutch Girl Creamery. Was set on fire in Lincoln, Nebraska. That was in February 2022. Shears Food in Oregon. A potato chip factory, boiler exploded, causes was being investigated. Dairy farm, a dairy cow milking barn in Vermont. Louis Dreyfus Company, I thought was an interesting name, Louis Dreyfus. In Claypool, Indiana, soybean processing plant. Percy Farm Stowe, something. Percy Farm in Stowe, Vermont, was caught on fire. Family-owned dairy farm, 100 plus cows lost. Let's see here. Wisconsin. So you get the idea. And that was just in February. That was just in February what I read you. Let me see. In March, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 in March. Let me see, Reading Eagle, Pennsylvania, Wayne Hover Farm, a dairy farm, Nestle food plant in Arkansas. And you can look these up. It's not like it's... But here's the thing. Just like Cy Hirsch, which is one of the greatest investigative reporters of our lifetime, he broke the story, which we all kind of knew, about America and, you know, blowing up the Nord Stream 1 and 2 because they didn't want, you know, Germany to get the cheap gas from Russia and everything. They blew it up. We kind of knew it, but he got the plans. It was like, if you got to read the article. But guess what? You can't read it on the New York Times because it's not there. Can't read it on the Washington Post. It's not there. Atlantic Journal-Constitution. LA Times, Chicago Tribune, Atlantic Black Star, you're not going to read it on them. He had to go to a blog, Substack, to post that shit. So the parliament in Germany is talking about it. They having debates on it. Russia and them is having meetings on the shit off of it because he couldn't put it in the real media. I'm sorry, not even real media. Because they becoming obsolete because they won't do what Cy Hirsch just did, which is question the obvious. So why bring that up? Because how come they not reporting this? I was in May. Let's see, in April in 2022. So I'm trying to make my way to 2023, fam. I haven't even got there yet. I had to stop in June. Because I see the shit posted on Twitter, and then I go and find the articles to make sure they legit. I find the local news to make sure the shit is legit. In April 2022, East Conway Beef and Pork, there's a fire. That's in Conway, New Hampshire. Taylor Farm, it's a bulk salad packing place in California. Azure Standard in Oregon. Distributive Organic Food, Hormel, we know what that is. Suffolk, Virginia, it's a fire. They manufacture planters, you know, products, whatever. Purdue Farm in Chesapeake, Virginia, soybean processing tank caught on fire. Okay. There's another spot in Fresno, and that was in April. So then I get into May, and then I was making my way to June. Here's the point. Right now, we in what they call a proxy war with Russia. We, unwillingly, we is the West, meaning America, UK, Norway, Germany, and them, right? European countries. The minorities on the planet is fucking with Russia. But they don't want to go at them direct because of the nukes. So they got to do this paperwork game where they doing our proxy. We're not attacking Russia. Hey, Ukraine, they over there behind the hill. We're not attacking Russia. Here's a rifle for you to shoot them with. We're not attacking Russia. Here's some tanks. Now, granted, they're only giving them just enough to keep the war going, not enough to do no real damage. And the fucked up part about it is, and I'm not saying this in any kind of glee or anything, because a human being dead is a human being dead, and it's a tragedy. Even though they got a shitload of Nazis over in Ukraine, they run out of people. All right, what's the point? Because I know I'm going to drift. I think we might be looking at a proxy war with all this infrastructure burning down. That's what I think. We got an open border down south. And it's not just folk from South America coming in. If you was Russian China, would you have any kind of surveillance or any kind of, I don't know, intelligence gathering capability in Mexico? I would. I would. So is it hard to reason? Because I don't have no evidence. Is it hard to reason that possibly some agents provocateurs folk that fuck shit up could be coming over here through the southern border and targeting our infrastructure. I'm not going to even give you the trains because last time I rode Amtrak, I was like, God damn, they haven't modernized this shit? I ain't even talking about the tracks. I'm just talking about where we get our food from. None of these administrations are spending any real money on fortifying, improving, modernizing our infrastructure. And these private companies, I don't know, man. Here's the funny thing about America. My tinfoil hat says, hey, Jonathan, folk is coming across the border and setting these facilities ablaze. But this is America. This is a predatory, I got a little cold, okay? This is a predatory capitalist vibration. There's a possibility that out of the possible hundreds of food processing plants that have been set on fire in the last year, that some of the wounds might not be self-inflicted, meaning they just neglect the safety of the plant to the point where it just becomes vulnerable to just normal wear and tear and shit catch on fire. Or maybe, you know, some of these people, God forbid, want to set fire to the joint. I don't know. That don't make sense. I can't see them. Are they going to get insurance? I don't know. That makes sense. All I know is this right here needs attention. I repost and post the shit on Twitter or whatever. But that's it. That's all I want to say. This shit looked mad suspicious. Or as young people say, sus. That sounds stupid. This looked mad suspicious. We got all of this food processing plants catching on fire, fam. And the media, just like the Nord Stream pipeline, the mainstream legacy media is not talking about it. Why is that? I thought if it bleeds, it leads. Now, do they get coverage locally? Absolutely. Because all these stories, I'm pulling up local news, ABC and Butt Scratch, this place, and CBS and Fox News, Middleton, such and such. But it's not bubbling up. Nobody's connecting the dots. I guess that's what the new media is supposed to do. And then, of course, as this idea gets traction, then the legacy media says, oh, yeah, by the way, you know, kind of a thing. So just keep your head on swivel. I ain't give y'all no advice about storing shit and, you know, because we learned from 2020. Seems like you can't save enough. You need a farm. But if you got a farm, you got to make sure the shit is fireproof. This is John the Soul, johnthesoul.com. You can find more of my content on johnthesoul.com. I have an audiobook. And I'm sorry, not audiobook. I should have an audiobook. But I have a novel called Malcolm Mars. It's a sci-fi novel. 3 families build a starship, go to Mars, build a new life. Working on the second book now. Got to read the first one because I almost forgot what I wrote. And it's supposed to be part of a trilogy. But I think y'all enjoy it. It's like the add wives to Deep Space Nine, and it's kind of like that. Not as well written, but kind of like that. Anyway, I love you guys. Hope your dreams come true. John the Soul, johnthesoul.com. Love you guys. Peace.